Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 222. That is how software testers works throughout the day. Okay. So this kind of question, if you are asked in the interview, the interviewer may be probably expecting like what exactly you do throughout your day, right? He just want to check, he or she just want to check what exactly is your work throughout the day. Okay, it should be a genuine answer, right? So the answer for the question should be kind of genuine. Okay, so what I did is why can't I explain like how did I work? Okay, so genuine, if I have to give the genuine answer like from my previous projects, I just selected. Okay, worked on many projects, but I selected four projects, four different type of projects, and in that how the work of mine was there at that point of time. Okay, I drafted it out here so that you'll get a feel of what exactly the software testers do throughout the day. Okay, it should be a genuine answer. So this kind of case studies for different four projects I created here. So this session is going to take time. You have to be patient because a lot of things I'm going to share in every project, like what I've done. Okay, so what are the things as a software tester have done throughout the day in these projects I'm going to cover in this session. Okay, so be ready for that. So let's start with the project one, guys. Okay, so it is a first of all, project one is a desktop application. Okay, so I have to test a desktop application. Okay, as part of the project, desktop application is an application which actually runs on an operating system like Windows or okay kind of thing, Mac or Linux, something like that. Okay, the desktop application is that kind of software which runs on that. So in that project, I have to test the desktop application. So what are the activities I used to do at that time in order to test the desktop application? So first thing that everyone does is checking their mailbox. Okay. After you reach your company and you wanted to start testing an application, the first thing that everyone checks is their mailbox. So you may be getting some emails from your client, okay, on what you have to do on that particular day. Okay, maybe some instructions may be given to you, or whatever the communication that the client want to do before you start your work of for that particular day, right? That will be mentioned in this particular emails. Sometimes you'll get emails from your managers and your subordinates, like the people who are on the top of you. Okay, so it's a form of communication, right? So the first thing that in any project we generally do is first we check our mailbox, okay, to see what are the mails we got. Not our Gmail, guys, not our personal Gmail. It's everyone in the company will be given will be given a company email, okay, to which all the work emails or the whatever the company level mails or whatever the client level mails or whatever your subordinate or manager or lead level mails, all the mails will fall into your company mail ID. Okay, so we have to check that first. That's the first duty that we generally do. So after we do that, in a while, guys, okay, we have to start working, right? So in this particular project, especially when I am working on this desktop application, right, the team size was very big. Okay, there were a lot of people working on the project. So a small meeting used to be conducted in the morning. Okay, so once everyone steps in and we used to rush to a meeting room. Okay, in the meeting room, we used to decide like on that particular day what functionality we have to test and on what environment. Okay, there used to be very good number of test environments. If you talk about desktop application, right, it can be tested on Windows machine. Windows again has different versions like Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, and so on. Okay, so this was the oldest project I did. So maybe at that time, whatever the Windows versions were there, whatever the Windows service packs were there, okay, different Windows operating system in different languages used to be there, whatever it is. Okay, whatever the environments were there, so there used to be a big list of environments. That's the reason the project size also was very big. A lot of people were working on the project so that they can test the same application on different test environments to bring everyone onto the same page to divide the work properly. Okay. So a small meeting used to be conducted in the morning. Okay. So after attending that meeting, after getting a clarity like after getting the instructions from the mail, we used to get some sort of feel like, okay, this is what we have to do today. And after that, the test lead of this particular project used to conduct a small meeting where that particular test lead used to decide which area of the application or which environment so and so persons need to perform testing. Okay, so planning is important, right? Without planning, you see, if everyone works on the same environment, that is a problem. So you see, a lot of things will be there, collaboration things will be there. Okay, it's not just go and test something. And once the work is decided here in the meeting, in the small meeting, we used to make our environments ready. Sometimes what happens is test environments uh, wouldn't be there. Okay, so we have to create it freshly, or we need to copy the environment into our machine. Okay, so because you see, we used to use a virtual machines kind of concept. Okay, virtual machines. So where you see, because in a single machine you can at a time only you can have, for example, in my laptop at this moment a Windows 11 is there. What if I have to test on Windows 10? What I have to do? It's not possible, right? So we used to create some test environments, okay, images of the test environments using, there used to be some softwares like VirtualBox and uh, okay, VMware kind of softwares, using which we can create environments, okay, which can run on the top of your operating system. Okay, I don't want to dig deep there, but the thing is that in order to test on that environment, I need to copy that environment file. I need to copy that, and using that software I need to launch the file so that Windows 10 will open in my Windows 11 operating system. Okay, such kind of thing is there. Okay, so we used to do that. Okay. So we getting ready, sometimes what happens is the environment itself will not be there. So again, you need to know, right, how to if your computer is blank and if it doesn't have any operating system, what you have to do, you have to install operating system, right? If you are lucky, the environment is there, you just copy that file and then launch the environment and start testing. That was very easy. Okay, copying used to take some time at the time. The machines used to be slow and all, they were not so fast as per today. Okay, that's another thing. So it used to take a lot of time for us to copy the environments into our machines. Okay, I will go chronologically, guys, because project one maybe looks older than project two, project three. You will get a sort of idea like how the migrations happened over a period of time also. Fine. So if the environments were not there, we need to prepare that environment using the same software, guys. Either using the VMware or VirtualBox software. Okay, we have to insert the CD into that. Okay, it can be image file, virtual image file, or a kind of CD. We used to insert and install and get that particular environment ready. After the environment is ready, then only we can install the this particular application version that we can test on that particular day, right? We have to start testing. First we used to do the installation testing. Okay, we used to do the installation testing. uh, so to see whether the software is getting installed properly, uninstalled properly, upgraded properly, updated properly, it's coexisting with other softwares properly, like that, all the types of testing we used to do, guys. Okay, desktop applications testing generally involves all this stuff. Okay, then then after that, after the installation testing is done, okay, so we used to do the testing the functionalities of the application using test cases and email test using test cases. Okay, so we used to write some test cases. We used to create some test cases, and that test cases we used to run. Okay, so beforehand we used to create some test cases, guys, and that test cases we have to execute as part of that particular functionality. And email updates and exploratory way. Okay, so email updates means what? Whatever the updates we got, you see, during the day also we used to get some emails like do this, do that kind of thing. Whatever the updates we used to do, we used to get, we have to perform testing accordingly, right? So that we used to do. At same time, we need to run the test cases. And it's not about you will not find defects all the times. You will not find the defects only just with the help of the test cases. We have to be go behind our test cases, use our mind, brain. Okay, think in all directions and come across different cases using which we can find more defects in the software. Okay, we have to explore the application in different ways and find the defects. That's how we used to do the testing. And while doing this particular testing, we used to find some defects. on that particular day of testing, and we used to report these defects into different defect tracking tools. So, whatever the defect tracking tool that we were using at that time in the project, into the defect tracking tool, we used to report the defects. Okay, we used to report the defects, and finally, once the developers, okay, at the time in this project, right, developers were not a part of this project, like they are not part of our own company. They were somewhere remote, so they used to be somewhere. Whatever the defects we reported today, uh, tomorrow we used to get the mails, okay, regarding that this particular defects got fixed. Now you can check on the latest versions of the software, like that. Then on that particular day, if any defects are fixed by developers, right, and we have, and the version is ready for the software to test, then we used to retest the defects. Okay, so all these activities we used to do. So a lot of things we generally do throughout the day, guys. Okay, the things go on. This is only one project I'm explaining. Multiple projects, when I explain, right, you will come across all the activities. Okay, so if you don't remember also, guys, here is a mind map and all. You can cross check here, right? You can watch this video, pause the video, and then make a note of all this stuff. Okay. Then connecting with the client in the afternoon and updating our status over call or chat. Okay. So here in this project, right, this project was a London-based project, and right, the time zones. You see, whenever you work on a project, time zones. Okay, so US projects, they will not be available when we are testing. Okay, they will be sleeping, and when they are working, we will be sleeping. Okay, but coming to the London and this kind of people, right, they their times match with us. Okay, so in the afternoon, right, it will be morning for them, and they'll be connecting. So this project, the client was connecting in the afternoon, and you see, not only getting the update mail, mail checking in the morning, but also there was a kind of custom in this project where in the afternoon we used to connect with the clients. Okay, so whatever the clients, once they were awake, right, they get up in the morning, right, immediately they used to connect with us in the morning of theirs. That used to be our afternoon after our lunch break. So we used to connect at that time, and we used to discuss, like, from the morning to that afternoon, whatever the work we have done, we used to update them. Okay, it is more about communication, guys. Communication was good in this project. Okay, so we used to update our status, so far status over call, and sometimes the calls were used not to be there. We used to chat just, okay, Skype chat used to be there. We just used to chat over Skype, and whatever the instructions they have not provided in the mail, they used to give some fresh instructions in the afternoon, and we need to update our instructions and test accordingly. Again, you see small collaboration and small discussions. Okay, it is a hectic project ultimately, right? When the client is giving you instructions multiple times throughout the day, you see your work automatically increases. Okay, so taking fresh instructions, and they used to be there till the end of the day. Okay, so because you see their morning is their our afternoon is their morning, means you can imagine, right? So we used to work a bit late in these projects. Okay, and we used to communicate with them throughout the day. Any small doubt, they used to ping us, and they were very communicative. And while we were working, a lot of communication used to happen parallelly in this project. Okay, so this happens. This may not happen in all the projects, guys. In some projects, this kind of situations may come. Okay. So we used to continue our testing throughout the day. Whatever the end of the day we have to work, we used to continue our testing. Then a lot of collaboration meetings used to happen. You see, in this particular project where we are working, right, there were many members in the project. Okay, there are many team members in the project. So collaboration will be a definitely challenge. When the team size increases, collaboration, the meetings increases. Okay, automatically, whatever the projects you take, you see, quarter of your day goes for the meetings only. I think everyone has to accept this fact. Okay, the quarter of the day goes with the meeting, and remaining day we generally work. Okay, so since everyone is working on different test environments simultaneously on the same application, there need to be some meetings conducted to discuss what went so far, what happened, anything, any buzzing things happening in the project. Okay, something to be discussed, because client is also very active in interaction. So we need to inform the client about the things that are happening at our side. Okay, simultaneously. So a lot of collaboration meetings used to happen within the team, and whatever the meeting details, like we used to communicate with the client over chat, or if required over call, based on the emergency of the situations and all. throughout the day, that is till the end of the day. And we used to give our test results immediately till the end of the day. Okay, so that you understood. And finally, when the day comes to an end, okay, after you do some testing, reporting defects, retesting defects, communicating with the client, conducting, attending a lot of meetings with the team and all those stuff, after preparing all these environments and all this stuff, right? All this stuff, when the day comes to an end, uh, the test lead of our project used to send a status update email, a final email with whatever the work we have done on that particular day. Okay, who has done what work? Uh, we need to gather, and everyone has to give their work, and whatever the defects they have reported, we need to document them and provide them in the email. And a final email we used to shoot out to the client. Okay, so the complete team collaborated together, helping the test lead in shooting out a final email to the client. Okay, so this used to happen. This used to be the final thing. Okay, in our project. So every day the same thing used to repeat. Okay, this is one of the project I have worked in. Okay, so hope you got an idea, right, of how what testers will do throughout the day. With this single project only, you got an idea. But let me give you more case studies so that you will learn more. Okay, if you are new to this project workings and all, right, going through this multiple case studies will definitely help you out. Okay, and there may be some case studies which I have not even covered in this session also. Okay, so we can take 10, 20, 100 case studies also. Okay, so let me give you 4 different case studies which covers the most. Let's go to the second project which I worked on it, which was a web application. It's not a desktop application, it is a web application. When we talk about the web application, the applications which run on the browsers are generally known as a web application, right? So we need to test the applications on different browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Opera, like that. Okay, so anything, anywhere in the project, right? In this project also, we used to check our mails first. Okay, so what mails? Did we get any emails from the client? Because sometimes what happens is the application that we used to test used to change, guys. Okay, the client used to change the application URL. So the next version of the web application used to have a different URL, and after a few days, again the URL used to change. Okay, so after the development team of the client side have changed, done some fixes and all, when they wanted to us to perform some testing and all those retesting and all those stuff, right? They used to give a different application URL. Okay, so that application URL, the latest application URL on that particular day, whatever we have to test, used to come over email to us. Okay, it used to come over email to us. We used to check our emails, and we used to take the this web application URL from that email. Okay, and also not only just that application URL in the mail, the client used to clearly specify the instructions that we have to do on that particular day, what testing the testing team has to do, what focus, what type of testing we have to focus on, all such kind of things. Any doubts that we have asked on the previous day were also replied in the same email. Okay, all these things, all the mail checking was the first thing, guys. Everyone used to check their mails. Okay, so in this project, I was a test lead of this project. So I used to assign the work to the team, guys. Okay, so it was my duty at the time to assign the work to the team, and I need to divide the total work. In The team size was less compared to the first project. First project was very big. Like, there were like 20 to 30 people working, whereas here there were only 3 to 4 people working when I was a test lead in this project. So this was a small project, it looks like, but it used to eat out all our complete day anyhow. Okay, because the number of resources are less. Okay, depending on the size of the project. So here, assigning the work to the team by dividing the total work, I need to call up the team members to my desk, and we used to look into these emails, and we used to read out together. Okay, because sometimes the mails sent by the client will be kind of tricky. Okay, so it's a better thing that we all sit together and then just look out the emails and point out the pointers from the mail, so that we can understand the work assigned by the client well, and also divide the work well. Okay, so after that we used to divide the work between ourselves. Okay, we used to divide the work between ourselves, and we used to start our day. Okay, the work. So what are the different works we used to do? These works not any these works we were not doing on a single day, guys. Okay, whatever the different works I mentioned here, okay, this may have been done in on one day, this work may have been done in another day, like that. Okay, so but generally what works we have done in this project, I'm just collected together here. But they don't think that all these works that I mentioned here will be done in a single day. It's not possible, guys. Okay. So on one day, this work may be done. On another day, this work may be done. But what are the types of the works we generally used to do every day? Okay, understanding the application. In the beginning of the project, right? Once we get an application URL, we are very new to the application, so we don't know the application well. So the first few days, right? We used to spend in understanding the application. So once that understanding, while understanding the application, right, the client used to give us a, there used to be some kickoff meetings kind of thing between the client and us, where the client used to help us in understanding the application by giving some small demos of the application. So whenever we get some doubts, right, small meetings used to happen between the client and us over call, and where the client used to demo us the application for us, okay, and clear our doubts. Okay, we used to clarify our doubts, as I already mentioned. We used to ask a lot of questions during the initial meetings, like what is the scope? Do we have to test the entire application, or any particular application functionality we have to focus on that particular day? Environments. So you see, the client may not be expecting you to test on all the environments. Okay, there may be set of browsers on which we have to test, and set of operating systems on which we have to test. Okay, all that environments we used to ask them. Okay, then testing type, which type of testing, UI testing or what type of testing we have to do on that day. Okay, so and then any application doubts we used to clarify with the clients. So this happens naturally throughout the project, guys. Okay, so on what day this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, don't worry, but these are the activities which that we generally perform. Then we create a test plan for every project. We used to create a test plan, guys, and once the test plan is approved, only we used to proceed with the creation of the test cases. And again, we once the test cases are completed, uh, like whatever amount of test cases completed, we used to send them every day, and used to get feedback, and kind of the days used to pass on. Okay, so because test cases will not be completed in one day or 2 day, right? It will take some time, 2 weeks of time at least minimum. Okay, depending on the size of the project. So we used to get it approved, and after getting the feedback, and after updating the test cases with the collected feedback and getting it approved, then once the test cases are done, we used to execute them. We used to divide the work between us in the team. Okay, and we used to execute the testing, and with the without test cases also, not always with first test case. With the test cases, first we need to complete, first we used to complete the test cases. After that, we used to test without using the test cases also. Okay, so exploring way, with an intention of finding more defects in the software, because there may be some routes that everything cannot be documented in the test cases. Okay, sometimes our brain may be working more better than the test cases and can find more defects in the software. Okay, so maybe thinking suddenly we'll get a lot of ideas while testing, which user, what user may do like this, what if user will do like that kind of ideas, and we used to get that ideas, and we used to, with and without test cases, we will perform testing. Okay, then finding and reporting the defects in the software. So what is the purpose of all this, creating the test cases and executing the test cases, testing with the test cases and without test case? The purpose is to find the defects in the software, right? Okay, we generally find the defects in the software and report these defects to the, okay, the client side team. Okay, at that time, we were the only testers, and there were no developers of this particular project our side. So whoever the developers are there, they used to be at the client side. So the client side developers used to receive our reports, defect reports, and the next day, right, in the emails or something, they used to update saying that this particular so and so defects got fixed. So and so defects are not really the defects, and all those kind of things used to happen. Okay, whatever the defects we have to retest the next day or whatever it is, we used to retest also. Okay, then updating the test cases, we used to spend some time. Sometimes what happens is application used to go down, and instead of just wasting the time, right, we used to spend some time on updating our test cases and making our test cases even more better, so that the test cases can find more defects in the software. Okay, so if we get any sort of time after doing all this stuff, if we still have some time on that particular day, we used to update our test cases in this project. Then in this project, guys, we used to have the weekly calls, where the client used to, like, we used to discuss around 1 hour. Okay, around 1 hour we used to have a call where the client used to give us some updates from their side, like what happened throughout the week, their side, and what they're expecting from us, and are they happy with our work or not, what changes we have to do, and all those stuff. Such kind of discussions we used to give the updates. We used to, any demonstrations we used to give. So we used to give the demonstration. So in this project, automation was also there. I didn't mention here. Okay. So I'll write it somewhere here. Automating tests. Okay. So automation demonstrations we used to do in that particular weekly calls. Okay. We used to do that. We used to demonstrate the automation calls, and we used to give the complete update of the week. Okay. Over the call. Okay. A touch point meeting, you can say, uh, where the client and we used to discuss on that meetings. Okay. So at the end of the day, we used to send daily. I used to send, because I was a test lead of this project. Every team member used to help me in drafting out this kind of email. Whatever the task that we have completed, we have started from the day and completed by the end of the day, right? All the tasks we used to draft out in the emails and send them to the client. Okay. By collaborating with all my team members, I used to do that. Okay. Then sending weekly status emails. Okay. So every week, it's not just daily status. After daily status, every week, right? Every Monday in the morning, right? I used to send a weekly status email as part of this project. It's not compulsory, it's optional. It depends on project to project. In that company, the process was followed where we used to send weekly status emails to the clients. Okay. So what work we have done during that week, on Monday, what work was done, on Tuesday, what amount of work was done, on Wednesday, what, like that, they weekly, so that client will be updated properly. Okay. So client communication was very important, right? So whatever the ways possible, we used to collaborate with the client and communicate there. So unlike in the first project, the client was very interactive. Okay. He used to be there side by side while we were testing, but in project 2, the client was not like that. Okay. So the more communication was happening over emails and weekly calls and these emails. That's it. Okay. So different projects, different ways of communications will happen. And also we used to send our timelines, guys. Okay, to impress the client. Sometimes we used to spend like a. This used to happen in the older days, like more time we used to work, and right, how much work amount of hours we have worked on a particular day. We used to send that to the client. Okay, just to impress the client and all. Okay. So apart from doing all these activities of this particular project, right? We used to attend the meetings with the managers on that particular days. Okay, most the team, we used to have different meetings with the managers. Okay, and we used to attend the company meetings. Company also used to conduct some meetings with the different projects or a group of projects. So all these things happens throughout the project. As a software tester, as part of this project, this much of work was done. Okay. So second case study is also done, guys. First case study is done. Second case study is done. This is what we have done. Now the third case study. Okay. Now the third case study, that is project 3. In the third case study, guys, it was a mobile application. So it was a different. It was following a V model, guys. Okay, we were following a V model, and the in this project, right, compared to the first 2 projects. Okay, in this project which have worked here, completely testing team was driving the entire process. Okay, testing team was there in the begin there before everyone, and everyone was actually going whatever the testing team was doing. So okay, so we were playing a major role. Testing team was playing a major role in this project. So compared to this project where the testing team was not playing a bigger role, but here in this project, the testing team that played a major role. Okay. So it was a mobile application, guys. Okay. So the mobile application has to be tested on many test environments, right? Many mobile devices. Okay. So there were some tablets, tablet sized devices. There were some mobile phones on which we have to test the application. Okay. A lot of things were there. Okay. So Surface, Microsoft Surface, like that kind of devices were there for testing this mobile application. So I will take a different way of just explaining what throughout the day we have done in these projects. Okay, this third project. Initially in the initial days, there was ice breaking meeting. When they were adding the testing team to this project. Okay, when they were adding the team to this project, where I was also part of the team. Okay, testing team. So there was ice breaking meeting conducted. So where already there were different people already there assigned to the project. Okay, as different roles. So some project beginning discussions were happening and ice breaking between all the different teams in the project were there. Here, unlike these projects, here we have the developers at our side only. Okay, at our company side only, developers were there at our side, testers were there at our side only. So that kind of project this is. Okay, so architect was there, project manager was there, UI developers were there with us, UX team. It was a different experience altogether because till now in the project one, project two, I didn't get any experience of how to interact with the developers and all, how they do the work and how we can collaborate and make our work better. That was not an opportunity in project one and project two. But in project three, that was an opportunity for me. As a software tester, I was able to interact with the architect, manager, UI developers, UX team, mobile application developers, backend developers, and our testing team. Okay, so very big team was there. It was a mobile application. Okay, so here we didn't get any application directly. So here we got a BRS document from the client, and this BRS document was first initially shared to the developers because testers were added late to this project. Okay, not too late, but compared to them, we were kind of in the last position. Okay, so it was there was a BRS document given already to this team by the time we joined into the team. So these guys have shared this BRS document with us, business requirements specification document with us. So we as software testers were as a first thing, okay, we went through this. We started understanding we went through this BRS document multiple times, okay. So because BRS document is not generally meant for software testers, but also developers also, right? It is meant for different people in the team, okay. So we went to the BRS document to understand the application, and we used to get some doubts, and we clarified our doubts first with the team and then after with the client also, okay. Then once this BRS document era is completed, where we got some clarity of what the application is all about. Application is not there actually. Okay, our application is not there. Only documents were there. So we started working with the design team, guys. Okay, since we are introduced well in the beginning of the project itself. Okay, in the beginning phases of SDLC, you can say in the V model. So we have to do our part, right? We cannot be idle. Okay. Once we understood the BRS document, we started working with the design team. So design team were creating some design screens based on this BRS document, and we used to also sit beside them, and then if they are doing some mistakes, there itself we used to rectify them, correct them, or it's kind of peer review we used to do. Okay, in this project especially because we got that flexibility. Then so that we get better designs, and these designs at the end of the day were shared to the client, and client used to feedback, and we used to change it. Okay, these things went for few days. Then on a particular day, we once we got an idea about BRS and some design screens, some idea we got, we created a test plan. Okay, we created a test plan along with the strategy and all our things. Okay, whatever the process we have to follow as part of creating the test plan, we created that as testing team. And you see that we gather the test environments because this is a mobile application. The mobile application has to be tested on right, mobile devices. So the problem here we faced was our company was not ready, or in any other any company may not be ready, guys, to give you all the devices. Okay, so cost of the devices will be very high, right? If a particular device has to be tested on 100 devices, can a company purchase that 100 devices? No, right? So some set of minimum devices, so 4 to 5 devices they purchased. Okay, so 4 to 5 devices they purchased, and gathering that 4 to 5 devices and getting into a team was one challenge that we have done. And after that, we have used some simulators or emulators, you can call. So remaining all testing we used to do on the emulator simulators kind of stuff. Okay, so fine. Mobile testing is generally challenging. Then creating test cases. Okay, when compared to this project, guys, creating test cases was a bit challenging because that was the first project for me where I have to work into a mobile application. Testing a mobile application will be definitely different from the web application. Web application use your mouse and all, but in mobile applications you generally don't use mouse, right? So use your finger. Okay, you touch the screen, and there are something like landscape mode, portrait mode. Okay, so orientation we generally call that, and lot of things, guys, a lot of things, lot of different networks we can connect. Okay, mobile networks we can connect, lot of things. It was a different world altogether. Creating test cases was a bit challenging, but with the help of these developers and people who already have exposure into mobile side, with having discussions with them, we were able to create better test cases and get it reviewed by the client and the team altogether. And we were able to come to a once test cases were reviewed, we created traceability matrix where right, we mapped the requirements with the test cases to see if we have missed any requirements for which we have not okay documented any test cases. We created traceability matrix also in this project. Fine. Once the traceability matrix was also good, then we figure out we went on finding out the different tools to be used in the project for various purposes for reporting the defects, which tool we have to use. Okay, it was a different story altogether. The client was not giving us, so our company only has to give the tool, whatever the in-house what you call in-house, whatever the in-house hosted tools were there. So those in-house hosted tools we were using at that time, okay, like Bugzilla and all those stuff. Okay, so for reporting the defects and all, collecting the information about the tools and going to the different departments, IT teams and whatever the teams, right, and uh, getting them for us so that we can start testing and reporting the defects was a bit challenging, but we have done that. Okay, then we have taken KT from the backend development team. So there was a backend. Already there was a web application for this particular project, guys. They want to also have a mobile application. That was a situation in that project. So the this particular backend team already have worked on the web application development. So they were helping us in mobile application also. So this backend team, what they have done is instead of writing the code from scratch, they created the API calls. Okay, API calls they created, and they created a documentation with all the API calls and expected responses and given us for our testing. Okay, so we have taken the KT from this team and started understanding this. Even this was the first time that I got an opportunity where I can work on API testing at the time. So learning simultaneously over the web what is API testing and parallelly, right, interacting with the backend development team to understand how the testing should happen. And on the go we learned a lot, guys. Okay, on the go we learned a lot, and we created test cases for them for API testing and all. So UI of the application was not ready at that time, only API calls were there, you just understand. Okay, so if the APIs are very stable, right, UI testing will become very easy at later point of the time. So we performed the API testing and we reported the defects and got these particular defects fixed by this backend development team and retested them. Okay, all these things happened in the project. And once the UI is also ready, once the mobile application team, there was mobile application developers also. Once they integrated these API calls with the UI of the mobiles, okay, of different mobiles like Windows, Windows related mobile and Android mobiles, iOS mobiles, and all those stuff. Okay, so we started executing the test cases of the modules that are ready by the development team on the different supported mobile devices and mobile operating systems. We reported the defects. We worked closely with the development team and got these particular defects fixed. Okay, we went through multiple test cycles in this project, guys. This project was not so easy. It's like we did a lot of hard work in this project, I can say. So different versions of the builds used to come. Okay, every 2 or 3 days we used to get a different build and we used to test all the devices again and again. Okay, that was very challenging for us. So we used to retest the defects, and before releasing it, you see here releasing of this particular software has not happened as a whole. Rather, there were some timelines, like a first module need to be released by this time. There were 6 modules. Second module need to be released by this time, like that. They used to be there and repeating multiple cycles. I mean, here we used to attend bug triage meetings before releasing a particular module and to see what amount of bugs are still there and what are priorities, and before releasing them into the as per the timelines and all. We used to attend a bug triage meeting. I explained more about bug triage meeting in software testing course. Okay, so a lot of things, if you want to understand whatever I'm explaining in this particular interview question, right, if you have to understand a lot of terms, okay, you need to refer my video course, software testing video course, that I created. Okay, so after going through that course, right, this understanding will be very easy and you will be able to understand the real time working of a software tester throughout the day in multiple projects. Okay, from my experience. So we used to attend meeting with architect. Architect is the main one who used to take the higher level decisions of the project at the technical levels, you can say. if the developers, if the mobile developers or backend developers are doing some mistakes, architect used to correct them. Okay, so but as software testers, we also used to be part of that meetings and used to get some idea like what's going on in the projects. And also at the same time, we used to attend the meetings with the client side POCs to clear our doubts. They used to give a lot of feedback to us, and and we used to collect the feedback and work according to the feedback, and a lot of things used to happen, guys. Okay, it's not a simple project. The project was very typical, and right, a lot of challenges. Here, testing team was doing a great role, I can say, in driving all the other members in the project. Okay, so we used to be the main point of contact for POCs. Okay, and ultimately, guys, you see, this is a very burning project. So we used to sit in a war room, in a single room. Okay, in a single room. I mean, in the company, kind of, we used to book a meeting room, and everyone used to sit together, like developers, testers, the UX team, UI team, all the other people, even including manager, architect. We used to sit together, and there used to be a whiteboard, and right, kind of things used to happen very dynamic there. Okay, so when we immediately reported defect, there used to be some discussions happening on the whiteboard. So just to speed up the process of the developing the software, we used to do that because of the hectic timelines in this project. And sending daily status mails to the client. Okay, in any project, guys, we have to send daily status mails to the client at the end of the day, whatever the work we have done from morning to the evening, right, as part of software testing. Okay, I used to be the test lead here also. I used to send the mails to the client. Okay, and receiving continuous feedback from the client side POCs. We used to receive a lot of feedback from the client side POCs every day. uh, we used to attend a lot of meetings, and all those stuff used to happen. So, and also, guys, the very challenging point in this particular project was that release point. Okay, when the time comes, when the day comes where we have to release a particular module. Okay, into the when we have to release a particular module to the client, right? So, as per the given accepted timelines. Okay, so we used to work very hard at that times. 2 to 3 days used to be very hectic for us. Okay, working hard, pushing the release of the different modules of the software as per the plan. Okay, so we used to every in the same war room we used to sit, and things used to be very hectic here. Okay, so sometimes in the midnight we used to release the software to the client, guys. Okay, it used to happen. This was a project 3, but I have learned a lot in project 3, guys. Okay, though it is hectic, it was very. You see, in one of the project I tested a desktop application. One of the project I tested web application. Most of the projects I tested web applications, but I was very lucky to work on desktop, mobile, and web applications also. Okay. Then finally, the last project, guys, that I'm going to cover in this session. So this is also important because here Agile, till now no Agile process was there in any of these projects, but in this project that I selected here, though there were many other projects I worked apart from this project I selected because in this project Agile methodology was there, Agile Scrum methodology was followed. Okay, it was a web application, but the web application was very big. It was an e-commerce web application, very complex, very big e-commerce application, guys. Okay, so there were many teams working on the same application. You can see they just gave us only one module of the application. Okay, one area of the application they gave. So that much big the project size was there. We are responsible only for our module. Okay, nothing much. And here, as I already mentioned, in this project, the Agile Scrum methodology was followed. Okay, the SDLC model, Agile Scrum methodology, Agile SDLC model, Scrum methodology was followed, and right, in Scrum methodology, the work will be done in the form of iterations. If you are new to Scrum and Agile and all those stuff, I created a video in the software testing course. You can software testing made easy course. Okay, you just go through that course and come back here. You'll understand all these terms. Then you see, in this project, I got assigned first. So you see, in any project, the first thing that what we do, we check emails, right? We have to first check emails, right? Okay. So we check emails to see like what is that we have to do today. Okay, what is the work that as software testers we have to do today? That is the first thing that we used to check. Okay. So any defects got fixed by the developers. A lot of emails we used to fall in our company mailbox. We used to check. Okay, from the client side and company side. Fine. And there used to be a daily morning meeting on what to do with the client side POC. Okay, so every day, right, in the beginning before we start our work, client side POC used to be there on site. Okay, from the US. Uh, the client side POC used to connect at our time. Um, Before we start our work, after checking our mails, we used to attend this meeting where we used to talk over call to that particular client side POC, and the client side POC also used to work with us in testing only, but major role the client side POC used to serve was to help us in going a proper direction, like what exactly we have to test on that day. Because since this particular person is on site, this person knows well like what's going on in the project, and what things are happening, and what is the major work that need to be focused at that time. Okay, then estimating the stories assigned to the sprint, guys. Okay, so a lot of activities we do, because if it is agile scrum methodology project, means a lot of activities we used to do. We used to we used to be part of estimating the stories assigned to the sprint. Okay, so we used to estimate the stories, guys, and then the stories based on the estimations used to be assigned to the sprint. Sprint used to be 10 days, and in the 10 days we have to complete all the assigned stories of the sprint. Okay, that's what is agile scrum methodology all about. Anyhow, we used to be part of estimating the stories. Okay, so then understanding the user stories in version 1. Okay, so here there will not be any BRS document or something, but we generally get the requirements in the form of small chunks and pieces known as user stories. And there is a tool that we have used in this project known as that project was using, that is version 1 tool. In that version 1 tool we used to get the user stories. Okay, and once we go through each and whatever the user stories that got assigned, right, we used to pick one of the available user stories of that particular sprint, and we used to clarify our doubts in the same stories in the form of comments and all. And the business used to reply our doubts. Okay, that used to happen in the beginning. For all the we used to review all the stories, we used to understand all the stories and put all our doubts. Next day, by the next day morning, right, or by the end of the evening or something, the business used to reply us with all the doubts, clarifications about that stories. Okay, if we don't understand any acceptance criteria of the story or whatever it is, all the things were clear for us. Okay, then this kind of things used to happen. Then not only that, guys, after doing this, we used to spend, because development team is also working parallelly with us. Okay, and it's at the same place where we were working. We used to go to the desk of the development team and uh, discuss with them, like okay, this story, about the story, so that they may have some different insights and we may have some different insights. It's a common discussion used to happen between us, so that we can get a kind of level of understanding, more understanding of the user story. Okay, so that used to happen. Then we used to create the test cases for the story, guys. Okay, we used to create the test cases for the story. A lot of test cases we used to create, the for every story we used to create the test. Once understanding is done, we used to create the test cases, and these test cases were reviewed by the business and approved. Once approved only, then only we used to start executing the test cases. That means indirectly we are testing the user stories using with the help of the test cases. Okay, in all the supported environments. And we are performing testing and finding more defects. Apart from test cases, we everyone, you have to use their mind, right, or brain, whatever you call, in performing the testing and find more defects. Okay, to find more defects, test cases will yield some defects, but not test cases will not yield all the defects. Okay, sometimes we have to go out of track and find the defects. Then every day we used to retest the defects. We used to attend day, because it is agile scrum methodology project. You see, daily stand-up meetings used to be there. Okay, the scrum master used to organize a daily stand-up meeting throughout the sprint. After every sprint, next sprint will start, in next sprint also every day daily stand-up meeting. So here we used to discuss like what went well on that day, what didn't went I mean, what we completed, what we completed so far, what is the pending work, what is any blockages are there, what is the work that we are currently doing, what is. And scrum master also used to guide us like what is the current status of the project, can we complete the work by the end of the sprint or not. Okay, so like that things used to happen. And at same time, guys, we used to automate the older stories which are completed earlier. Okay, so in the previous sprints, right, whatever the stories that are completed, right, we used to pick some stories, and as part of regression, because you see, while we are working on stories, so who will do the regression testing? So that's not possible, right? So that regression testing efforts, if you have to reduce, then we have to automate them. Okay, the automation scripts in this particular projects used to run day and night. Okay, and we used to get the results, and if any particular automation scripts were failing, right, we used to investigate why they are failing. Are there any coding mistakes in the automation scripts, or are they failing because of there are any errors in the application itself. Okay, if any automation scripts are failing because of the application defects and all, we used to report the defects. Okay, automating them and running them, running will happen automatically over Jenkins and also stuff automatically at config, because this is a very big project. A lot of teams were there to manage all the different stuff. Okay, core teams were there because it is a very big project. Then you see, once the sprint comes to an end, we used to demonstrate the stories to the business, so that business is the final one who need to accept whether we have developed and tested the application stories properly as per the business mentioned acceptance criteria and all. Okay, once the business has accepted, the sprint used to end. And here also during the project, guys, we used to send some daily status update update emails to the client. Okay, so on that particular day, whatever the work we have done, right, to the other side client POC, we used to send the update emails to the client. Okay, then at the end of every sprint, there used to be some retrospective meeting conducted. Scrum master and all used to be there, and we used to discuss like what went well in the previous sprint and what didn't went well, what are the improvements we can make in the next sprint, and all those we used to discuss. And finally, guys, the sprints used to go on, and finally there used to be a day where the client side team, is a very big project, right? Client side team uh, finally will decide to release the software into the market. Okay, latest changes into the market. Okay, so for that, a lot of production support used to be there. Okay, it was a very big story, guys. Production support, if I have to talk about, it is a very big story, where after code freeze happens, no one touches the code there. Okay, after the code freeze, developers should not change the code there. Okay, testing is done, developers should not touch the code. At that kind of situation, in multiple phases during the production, they will not directly release the software into the market. Okay, what they will do is they'll go with different phases like phase A, phase B, phase C, phase D, phase E, like that. Okay, multiple phases they will phase A simulated production environment, you can say. Okay, they'll put that in all the code, deploy the code onto the phase A production environment, and then, right, once they put that code in the phase A production environment, then we have to perform some tests and see whether any defects are still missing. Okay, whatever the defects that we have not identified in the QA environment, are there any defects coming in the product, in that simulated production environments, pre-production environments, you can say. Like that, phase A is good, then phase B, phase C, phase D, phase E, and finally there used to be some codes and all. That's okay, let's not dig deep here. Okay, it used to be a few days, guys. Okay, a very hectic days, you can say, because everyone has to be very alert here, because if a single bug misses into the production, that will be a very big problem. So all these kind of things used to happen, and even the client side POC, the one who is testing, also used to be part of these, and we used to be part of that. We used to test, they used to test, and we used to do our level best. Okay, to make sure that no bug misses into the production. Okay, into the market. And finally, on one day, the software gets released into the market and goes live, and every end user used to attend. And there were some cases where we faced where some bugs were missed in the, okay, production. Okay, some hard fixes we used to do, and all those stuff will happen. And right, if anything happens, if any bug misses in the production, you see, ultimately a lot of meetings happens, post meetings happens, why the bug was missed, is that any mistake, what is the mistake, they will find out the root cause, like did the QA miss the bug, or what is the reason why the bug came. Okay, all the investigations will be done. So that is a very hectic process, but we have to try our level best, guys, in making sure that nothing goes wrong. Okay, so the production should go well. Okay, the releasing of the software into the market should go well. And this was a very challenging project, I can say, okay, in the terms, okay, of releasing the software into the market, and where a lot of production support was required by the teams. Okay, so guys, hope guys, you got a lot of knowledge now, right? From these 4 project case studies, maybe you got a lot of knowledge. It's a genuine knowledge, guys. Whatever I experienced, I shared here. Okay, so you also need to have a lot of patience to go through all this video, because okay, so if you have not worked on so many projects, and you want to get such kind of exposure, right, beforehand, okay, then this video may be very helpful for you. Okay, so with this, guys, with this note, I'm done answering the question how software testers works throughout the day. With 4 case studies, I explained this question. So hope you liked it. Okay. So that's all for this session, guys. The next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye.